Losing someone you love it's just one of the toughest things we go through. It could be a friend, a partner, anyone really. And when that connection just ends, you're left with these really deep, painful questions. So today, we're going to dive into a spiritual perspective on why these separations happen.
Right. Let's just get straight to it, because this is the question, isn't it? It's the one that keeps you up at night. If a relationship felt so right, if you prayed for it, why would God let it fall apart? It just feels so confusing, maybe even a little unfair.
And the way it happens can be so disorienting. I mean, one minute, this person is your home, they're your go-to. And the next, just silence. The calls stop coming, the whole energy between you just shifts, and you're left completely blindsided, just wondering, what did I do wrong? It's an incredibly painful place to be.
So let's talk about what's really going on inside of us when these connections just suddenly end. Our first instinct almost always is to look in the mirror and start blaming ourselves.
It's like we get stuck in this painful loop, First comes the confusion. What on earth just happened? What went wrong? Then that can spiral into self-blame, where you start asking, was it me? Was I not good enough? And finally, that crushing sense of failure, especially when you really, truly believed this person was meant to be in your life forever.
But what if we're looking at this whole thing the wrong way? The perspective we're exploring today suggests a really powerful shift, a whole new way of seeing it. What if what feels like a punishment is actually positioning? It's a divine reframing of the entire experience.
And this, right here, illustrates the idea so well. On the one hand, you have what it feels like: rejection, punishment, abandonment. But what if what feels like rejection is actually God preparing you? What feels like punishment is really Him positioning you for something greater? And that gut-wrenching feeling of abandonment, what if that's actually divine protection? It's about seeing it not as an ending, but as a holy transition.
So what is divine positioning? Well, think of it like this. It's the idea that God is intentionally creating space in your life. He's clearing things out for a reason, to protect you, to prepare you, and to pull you into the next chapter that is absolutely essential for your destiny. And this is such a critical piece of that puzzle. This whole idea hinges on the fact that we don't have all the information. God sees the things we can't see. He hears the conversations that happen when we're not in the room. He knows about the hidden intentions or the future distractions that would have held us back. So the separation, it's a protective move from a higher perspective.
Now, this idea of a purposeful separation, it's not new at all. In fact, it's woven all through the Bible. The source material points to several incredible stories where a painful separation was actually a necessary part of God's bigger plan.
Okay, let's start with Abraham. His entire journey, his destiny, it all started with one instruction: leave your family, leave your home. It wasn't about punishing his family, it was a prerequisite. His calling literally required a brand new environment, which meant that separation had to be the very first step.
And then you've got Joseph's story, which is, wow, even more dramatic. He was painfully, cruelly separated from his family. But that horrible, traumatic event, that was the exact path that led him to Egypt, which is where his entire purpose was waiting to unfold. If he had stayed comfortable and safe at home, he would have missed his destiny. And finally, the source points to Jesus himself. Think about it. The same crowds that were celebrating him one day were the ones that turned on him the next. That separation was necessary. Why? Because his ultimate purpose was never tied to popular opinion or the crowd's approval. It just goes to show that sometimes the greatest callings mean you have to walk a path alone. So, if this separation is meant for our growth, why on earth does it hurt so much? Let's get into why growth so often feels like loss, and why sometimes you have to get pushed out of the nest before you can learn to fly.
I love this analogy of an eagle teaching its young to fly. The nest is a safe, comfortable place, but the eaglet can't stay there forever. So what does the parent do? It starts making the nest uncomfortable. It literally pulls out the soft feathers and lining. And it's that very discomfort that finally pushes the little eaglet to the edge and forces it to try its wings. The idea here is that God sometimes does the same for us. He allows discomfort to push us into our own strength. And that time of discomfort, that loneliness, it can serve another purpose too. When all the other voices in your life fade away, it creates this quiet space. That season of isolation can actually be a direct invitation to build a deeper, more intimate relationship with God, where you learn to rely on Him as your primary source of everything. Here's another powerful image for you: a gardener.
A good gardener doesn't just cut off the dead branches, they cut off living, healthy branches too. And you think, why would you do that? Well, it's to channel the tree's energy so it can produce even more, even better fruit next season. In that same way, God sometimes has to prune relationships that aren't even bad, but they're preventing a much bigger harvest in your future. Okay, so after all the discomfort and the pruning, what's next? This brings us to the final and most hopeful part of this whole thing, trusting that what God removes, He will replace. It's about shifting our focus from the pain of what's gone to the promise of what's coming. This right here, this is such a crucial distinction. It gives you permission to honor the role that person played in your life, but without being chained to it forever. They helped write a chapter, maybe even a beautiful one, and you can be grateful for that chapter, but that doesn't mean they were meant to be in the final pages of your destiny. Acknowledging that is one thing, but how do you actually walk through this painful season? What do you do? Well, the source offers some really clear, practical advice on where to put your focus right now.
The main point is to surrender. Stop fighting it, stop chasing after them, stop trying to glue back together the pieces of something God has clearly brought to an end. Instead, turn all that energy inward and upward. You stop asking God, why did they leave? And you start asking, God, what are you trying to teach me in this season? What are you preparing me for? And here's the promise in all of this. With a little bit of time and a new perspective, the purpose behind the pain will become so clear. You'll be able to look back one day and see that what felt like a devastating loss wasn't a dead end. No, it was actually a sharp turn, redirecting you right onto the path you were always meant to be on. And this is the goal. This is the destination of this whole journey. It's that shift from a place of confused, painful questions to a place of just profound gratitude. It's that moment you finally realize the separation wasn't meant to break you, it was meant to lead you toward the person you were always created to be. And that really leaves you with one final thought. What if the greatest blessings in our lives aren't always the people who show up, but sometimes the ones God lovingly leads away?